it's hard to come up with a different plan here. I want to paint a different picture for you folks. I just hope that we can come to the realization that what happened in Washington, D.C. last week was not about health care. It was about control. It was about power. It was about whether or not the federal government was going to be able to tell you what you could do with your own life. That's what the battle's about. So as a football coach, I used to love to run the bootleg. I don't know if there are any football fans in here. For some of you who aren't, you fake the ball up the middle, and you keep it around the end. We always told our guys, keep your eye on the ball. Well, the eye on the ball is liberty. It's not health care. It's freedom. It's liberty. Let me tell you a story, and some of you won't like this story, but it's the truth. 5 years ago this weekend, I was in Pinellas County, Florida, trying to save the life of a handicapped woman, Terry Schiaville, that the federal government was starving to death. Now, does that make anybody mad than me? They were starving to death. Made the trip to Pinellas County, Florida, was arrested for trying to take water to a handicapped woman. The church called me a lawbreaker. Said, you shouldn't be down there. Shouldn't be down there doing that kind of stuff. I said, let me tell you something. If we let them starve that handicapped woman to death, Grandpa's next. Grandma's next. 5 years ago. And in this health plan that we see coming forward, what is there? Death panels. Death panels. Grandma and Grandpa, too old, they don't deserve it. You say, well, I'm young enough. Yeah, you're young enough, all right. But all of a sudden, they're going to find out that you're not eating the right type of food for breakfast, and they're going to be telling you what you can eat for breakfast. Think I'm wrong? They tell you how much water you can put in your toilet. They can tell you how much you can flush, what type of light bulb you can have in your house, whether you can build a deck on the back of your house. Right? It's about liberty. Now, I'm going to tell you, keep your eye on the ball. It's not about health care. Illegal immigration is coming down the path. It's coming right behind it, coming right down behind it. They're going to legalize those the illegal immigrants. Why? Give them health care because we heard them say in their own words, it's about redistribution of the wealth. They got us in here arguing over health care, how we can cut the costs of health care, and it all needs to be done. I'm worried about my kids. I'm worried about my grandkids. I'm worried about what's going on in this nation. And if someone with some courage and some gravel in their gut doesn't stand up soon, this thing we call America, we're not even going to recognize it anymore, folks. At Washington, D.C., I'll let the political wonks figure out what's going to go on with health care. I'm going to go fight for liberty. I'm going to get the federal government out of my bedroom, out of my bathroom, I get in my car, ding, ding, ding. I look at my wife. Obama's in here. The government is everywhere. Liberty, liberty, liberty. That's what I'm about. That's what you're about. That's what you're about. Liberty, freedom for your children to be able to earn their own way, be responsible for them. That's what we're about. That's what America's about. Dare I say it? There's a socialist in the White House. There's a socialist in the White House. We saw strong-arm tactics to come to your congressman and twist his arm till it about fell off. And when they knew they had the votes, they released him and made him look like a hero. Folks, we got to wake up. I know there's patriots all across this room. I know there are men who fought and died for this country. Abraham Lincoln said, those who gave their lives, that this nation might live. We face that again in America today. You can think it's health care. It's power, and it's control, and it's manipulation. And this is one patriotic American says, I've had enough of it. Thank you.
Steve Hall's going to go around to the tables and collect questions. He volunteered to do that. And by volunteer, I mean, I said he'd do it, and now he's kind of stuck. Thanks, Steve. I like this next question. It's my favorite question of the night. We're going to go right down the row with a simple yes or no, starting with Bo. Are you going to enforce immigration laws?
Yes. There already is.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
from that front. Steve, there's one right when you get there. The next question is from Carol Wheeler. If you were elected to Congress, what is the first thing you should do after reading a bill and deciding on how to vote on that bill? Start with Andre.
First thing I would do is, I've got a plan I've already begun to work on to set up a network around the 18th district. The way that network would work is basically that in a certain area of expertise, just take agriculture for example, if a representative came to me and said, we're working on a piece of legislation, we want to get you on board, we want you to make sure we got your yes vote, here's what it's going to do, here's how it's going to help your farmers, here's how it's going to help agriculture in your state and your district and all these different things. But what I understand, Luke Gohmert looked me in the eyes just last spring when I asked him, what is it that is the hardest thing to deal with on Capitol Hill? And he told me this. He said, people on your own team, in your own party, and people that call you their friend will look you in the eyes every single day and lie to you. Every day. Because them getting their legislation and what they want, their pieces of bills passed, is more important to them than integrity and principles and honesty and transparency and all those kind of things. So understanding that, you can't just trust what they're telling you. And you can't trust what your staffers are telling you either. And so what I would do is build a network, and I would have on that network, for example, in agriculture, small and large farms and people in the agricultural department and profession around this district in every county, and I would send out a notice via email. I mean, we've got technology, let's use it. And I would say, here's a piece of legislation that has come before me. Here's what it says. Talk to me. You know better than anybody how this is going to affect you. See, a wise person surrounds themselves with a council of many. I don't believe I have all the answers or that I'm intelligent enough to figure it all out. I'm willing to listen to what you have to say, and whether it's small business or the medical industry or whatever it is. When those pieces of legislation comes up, I'm going to look back to my district as well as the professionals that are there talking to me and saying, you who know best, I need you to tell me how this affects you so that I can make the best decision for you, for our country, for our nation, and what is most constitutional.